And I said, no, it's just really expensive, and yeah, the Humane Society might like it. He said, but we can have sharks, right? And I said, I don't think we're going to get sharks. And he said, well, what? I said, well, rubber fish, bubbles under the water, looking really dangerous. And that became a great joke, thanks to the brilliance of the man I'm about to introduce, the ill-tempered mutated sea bass. And it's just a kind of indication of the brain that this man has, and to me, just it says how lucky I was to get to work with such a genius, the elite of the elite, Mr. Mike Myers. Thank you.
Don't be daunted. I read fast. Good evening. I want to thank Jay Roach for the lovely introduction. I want to thank him for a beautiful partnership and also for being one of my best friends for the last 15 years. And thank you, Jay, for loving movies so much, which was how we became friends. We used to go see movies and talk about it, and I said, would you ever be interested in directing? And he said, yeah. I said, well, Jesus, why don't you direct this movie? So, which leads me to say thank you to the American Film Institute, and on behalf of the AFI, welcome to Target Presents AFI Night at the Movies. I got the name right. Right now we're about to watch Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. I wrote this movie in 1995. It took me 2 weeks. I was high as a kite on Cadbury's fruit and nut chocolate and 7-Eleven's Big Gulp Coca-Cola flavored Slurpee. Sugar was and continues to be my principal creative tool. My principal creative inspiration, however, is music. For Austin Powers, it was The Look of Love by Burt Bacharach. That song embodies the 60s, and I asked myself as I was listening to the song, whatever happened to swingers? Whatever happened to swinger culture? Back then, everything was eroticized, even things that didn't need to be and shouldn't be eroticized. For example, in the 60s, Sweden was a sexy country, and being a stewardess was a sexy job. Free love was in and true love was out. James Bond was the man, and studios around the world made James Bond parodies. And truthfully, Austin Powers is not a parody of James Bond, but a parody of James Bond parodies, including the first Casino Royale movie, which starred my hero, Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers was also in the movie The Pink Panther, as was another actor I worshipped, Robert Wagner. You may know him as Dr. Evil's right-hand man number 2. I have the great privilege of knowing Robert Wagner. You know you've become a friend of Robert Wagner when he turns to you and says, please, call me RJ. I first met RJ. Thank you. When he hosted Saturday Night Live, and he was one of my favorite hosts ever. He was hilarious. He was gracious. He also possesses one of life's rarest qualities. He's just cool. Just like the 60s are just cool. RJ is cool on screen and off screen. His show business stories on set were star-studded, riveting, and expertly told. The respect that this man carries directly affected the production of Austin Powers itself. We were in Las Vegas shooting the casino scene, and as Jay was saying, we had no money. The budget was completely stretched. And at the last minute, the casino put very severe restrictions on us as to where we could shoot, essentially ruining the scene. You know, the scene where he goes, you have a 5, and I go, I'll stay, right? And we couldn't shoot the slot machines. We couldn't shoot the dealers. We couldn't shoot the chips. We couldn't shoot anything, basically. The head boss of the casino came over to pull the plug, and in desperation, I said, you know Robert Wagner's in the film? And he said, RJ's in the movie? You may shoot wherever you like. I am at your service, Mr. Myers. Most people say they'll hook you up, but never actually do. RJ actually hooks you up. I mentioned to RJ that I'd never been to Europe before and that I was going to Venice after the movie was over. He said to me, if you're going to Venice, let me hook you up with the best hotel there is, the Cipriani. Mike, have you been to the Chip? And I said, no, I've never been to the Chip. He said, I'll talk to Mario. He'll take care of you. Now, I could only afford one small room at this very exclusive hotel, but because RJ had actually called Mario, Mario gave me the entire ground floor of the hotel. 360-degree views of Venice. Because as Mario said, I'm doing this because you're a friend of RJ, and he is a man of class. You deserve the best. When I got to the room through one of the open windows, I literally heard a gondolier singing, O Sole Mio. I laughed for 20 minutes because I know RJ had arranged for that to happen. He's just a great guy. For example, RJ calls me up every now and then and says, Mike, it's RJ. How you been? And I'll say, great, what's going on? Nothing. I just wanted to call you up to tell you I love you, kid, that's all. And I go, that's it? That's it. I got to go. Jill and I are about to jump on a helicopter with the King of Monaco to go marlin fishing. Okay, see you. I'm going to go play hockey. RJ truly is the international man of mystery. He may be number 2 in the script, but he's number 1 in my heart. But I would be remiss if I did not give credit to all the other great actors in Austin Powers: Elizabeth Hurley, Will Ferrell, Seth Green, Mimi Rogers, Michael York, and the brilliant Mindy Sterling. But most importantly, I want to thank the fans that have supported the trilogy of Austin Powers films. You, the fans, are why I'm standing here, and I thank you. And in closing, I'd like to thank AFI and Target for making this evening possible. Thank you very much for supporting these films, and thank you for very much for coming and enjoy the film. Thank you.